at least 36 people have died in the last 11 months.
The Department of Health confirmed 748 cases of listeriosis and says that the disease claimed 67 lives so far.
In simple language, it's a very angry disease.
It is testing food samples from a food outlet in Johannesburg.
The origin of the contaminated food was traced to the abattoir.
Authorities say they have closed a poultry slaughterhouse in Pretoria where the bug that causes listeriosis has been detected.
It's important to note that Sovereign Foods did not test positive for Listeria. We take all steps and we take it extremely seriously to ensure that we are Listeria free. This was a media campaign, and it was obviously something that was unfounded, and hence us going legal. And we obviously came out and it was proved that we do not have Listeria. I think it's important to note that was entirely untrue, and that Sovereign Foods is 100% clear.
The process that's unfolded from late December has been quite an involved one. We've gone through a number of processes with our government regulators in terms of Listeria. But to take you back to the beginning, there was a customer complaint dating back to November, and the investigations really only started early December. Full cooperation with the Department of Health, we invited them to our abattoir to come and take samples. At that event, they took samples of product, they took environment swabs, and just for due diligence purposes, we took duplicate samples of the samples that they took. Our samples went to Deltamune, who are an accredited laboratory, and the Department of Health's samples went to the NHLS, which is intended a medical laboratory, not specifically a food laboratory. Those samples came back. Our samples were 100% clear. The NHLS tests returned 8 out of the 14 samples as positive. Obviously there was a fair amount of debate around the validity of the results, and those results only came to us on the 22nd of December. So that Friday afternoon we agreed that we wouldn't start the abattoir up until the 27th on the Wednesday, which really didn't affect us much because of our December shutdown over Christmas. So we waited for the department to arrive on the 27th of December. They only arrived around lunchtime, and we went through a process of debating the results again. They wanted to take environment samples again, and they took retention samples from the Friday, and those samples again went to 3 sets of labs this time. Well, 1 to Deltamune, 1 to Swift Laboratories, and then 1 to the NHLS again. Based on the, let's say, inconclusive findings from the original tests, we wanted the department to agree that we could continue operations until such time as they could conclusively prove that the abattoir is not the source of the infection. And we then agreed to disagree, and they wanted us to actually quarantine all of our product if we continued slaughtering, which practically wasn't possible. So as a result, we sought legal relief. We applied for an urgent interdict, and in the development of that interdict process, which normally takes about a week to culminate, the results then again returned from Swift Laboratories, from Deltamune, and from NHLS. Those results were all clear in the environment. There were some positive results on the product, which is to be expected because Listeria is a ubiquitous organism. You're going to find it on an organic product. It doesn't matter where you look, you will find it. The question is the product safe? Absolutely. It's going to be cooked. You won't have any issues with that regard. The department then agreed to lift our prohibition notice, which means we were allowed to then slaughter, and as a result we then kicked off slaughter on a normal basis from around about the 8th of January. That process cost us probably 5 lost shifts of production. In terms of volume, it's probably about 250,000 birds that we weren't able to process, and we had to then on-sell those live. And we agreed to settle prior to the lodging of the urgent interdict, and we agreed to split costs. That on the basis of us wanting to cooperate with the department as we had all along, and without having the animosity hanging over us of a court order. So the parties agreed to let's say, split their differences in terms of costs, and we moved on. And as a result, the department have now started looking elsewhere, and we obviously want to work with them to help them find the source of the listeriosis outbreak. Media reporting can often be sensationalized. I think in this case we were talking about the loss of 102 lives. So is it sensational? No. If people have lost their lives, it can never be sensationalized. Was the announcement of Sovereign Foods' name premature? I'd say definitely yes. Without having a definitive proof that it was in our abattoir that the problem originated, they should not have mentioned any names. It's done enormous damage to our reputation and caused a lot of blowback for our customers. And we're working hard to resolve that and to restore the trust in our brands and our customers' trust in us.